Okay, determining the number of branch circuits. Now we're talking about dwelling unit. How many outlets can you put on a circuit? Let's establish that first. There is no limit to the number of switches, receptacles, or lighting outlets on a circuit in a dwelling unit. What you do is you calculate the number of circuits, and then you take it and you evenly proportion the lights and the receptacles over the number of circuits. So what we're looking to do now is we're looking to find out, well, how many circuits are you required? 21011A says this: the number of branch circuits required for dwelling, general lighting, and receptacles is based on the general lighting load and the rating of the circuit. So how many 15 amp circuits are required for a 2,000 square foot dwelling unit? Well, we get 2,000 square feet times 3 VA gives me 6,000 VA. If it was 120 volts circuits, which they are, we divide that by 120. That means I need 50 amperes worth of branch circuits. I could use 4 15 amp circuits because 4 times 15 is 60, so that'll work. Or I could use 3 20 amp circuits. 3 times 20, that's 60. That'll work. Now, understand, we need to have a couple of, let's establish what circuits we need to have. 2 small appliance circuits, right? We need a laundry circuit. We need a separate circuit for the bathroom receptacles. We're going to need a separate circuit for the garage. These are all contained in 210. That's all I can think of that we need circuits. Then I need to have what? General lighting and receptacle circuits. So if I have a 2,000 square foot dwelling unit, looking at this graphic here, I would have needed 4 15 amp circuits. Now what you do is this: you take the dwelling unit and you eliminate all those receptacles that are small appliance, laundry, garage, what else? Bathroom, and you take all the other outlets and you divide them by the 4 circuits, and you evenly divide, approximately evenly divide the lights and the receptacles. Can you put lights on the same circuit as receptacles? Sure. I mean, I get called something like, oh, I would never do that. I'm like, okay, well, I do. You know what I mean? I put it in my house. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that, generally. So that's how it is. There's no maximum number of receptacles on a circuit in a dwelling unit. When we get into commercial, we'll talk about that. There is a maximum. That's the 180 VA. Okay, guys, any comments on that?
Yeah, Annex D1A shows the same thing that you just covered. Just taking the general lighting load, 1,500 square feet times 3 VA, gives you 4,500 divided by 120, gave you 38 amps. And then it says this requires 3 15 amp 2-wire or 2 20 amp 2-wire circuits. So again, it's really one of those key things to go back and know what's in Annex D throughout all of it because it's so beneficial.
Michael?
Historically, electricians have always said, well, let's put 10 outlets on a circuit. And that's been a pretty much standard. That gives you 20 places to put some utilization equipment and plug it in. What's happening now with the advent of arc fault protection, ground fault protection, when you're calculating a house based on code and pricing it according to code, you just can't do it that way. You end up with 8 arc fault breakers, even though it's a nice job and you have only 10 outlets per circuit. You're bidding yourself right out of the ballgame.
What you're saying is know the code, right?
Got to.
Know the code, know how you size the number of circuits for general lighting and receptacles, and be able to provide that. Now, if you want to provide more than that, then the customer has to make a decision. Give the customer the opportunity to say, look, we're going to provide 4 AFCI circuit breakers. And today you're going to get AFCI, dual-rated GFCI, because in dwelling units, so many places require both GFCI and AFCI protection. So then if you need to do more than a code, well, that's a separate issue, but at least let's know what the code requirement is. Okay, hopefully that, Eric?
Yeah, be careful also about state codes, because some state codes mandate a maximum number of devices on a particular circuit.
Florida had that at one time, not anymore. All right, guys, God bless. Hope you like that little information.